Why was I so hard on the Detroit Lions in the 2023 NFC title game? Because we had an opportunity, and you guys know this. I feel like we blew it. Yesterday's price ain't today's price. This year is not last year. Things are a lot tougher. And our division is showing that. You know why? Because the NFC North today officially became the best division in the NFL. And don't worry, I'm going to tie this back to the Detroit Lions. Let's take a look at all the divisions, all right? And you'll notice something. In all of the divisions in football, there are 8 of them, okay? And the NFC North is the only division in which every team is over 500. They all won today. We won. Remember when it used to be like a parody? The Lions lose on their bye week? Well, I guess we won on our bye week. So Minnesota Vikings, 5-0. Detroit Lions didn't play. We played last week, 3-1. The Green Bay Packers, 3-2, edging out the Los Angeles Rams. And the Bears beat down their opponent. We are the only division in the NFL that every team is over 500. All right. In addition to that, how let me do that right. Hold on. Got me thinking today. All right. We kind of noticed this last week, but there's a trend. The reason I'm bringing the whole division into is a couple reasons why that pertain to the Detroit Lions. Last year, I don't know if you guys remember this, but last year when it was the day before Christmas, so it's Christmas Eve. Vikings are 7-7 or something like that. Lions are 11-4. I think it was, we're 10-4. And going into that game, the Lions, and there was an outside chance that the Vikings, with the win, if they move to 8-7, they drop us to 10-5. There was an outside chance that they could still win the division, but it would take a lot of help, and it would take that last game of the season. Of course, Minnesota would have to win out. It was all these things, right? That was last year. That was what the Minnesota Vikings started the way that they started, losing Kirk Cousins. I think they went 0-4 or 1-4, something crazy like that, right? So this year, things are a lot different. Chicago Bears started off rough. They've kind of coming around. Offense is starting to click as well, right? So now they go to 3-2. I think it's like win one, lose one, win one, lose one with them. The Green Bay Packers, tough outing by Jordan Love at first. Now they are above 500. So that's 2. So right now, let me go back to this, because right now, this is how tight the race is in the NFC North, okay? This is how tight it is. Next week, the Minnesota Vikings are off, so they will be playing the Detroit Lions at 5-0. The Lions face the Dallas Cowboys. If we win that game, check that, when we win that game, we're going to move to 4-1. In week 7, that matchup in Minnesota is going to be for the division lead early. But here's the thing. The Packers could also get a win. They're right behind us. The reason that they're not above us is because we've played one less game. We have one less loss. The Chicago Bears. The Lions lose to the Dallas Cowboys. And let's just hypothetically say these two teams win. Now you're talking about the Lions will drop to 4th place in the NFC North. And this is why I was so tough on the team last year. This is why I scream about an edge rusher. This is why the Detroit Lions don't have margin for error. All right. Now, in a 1-week swing, 2-week swing, let's say that these two teams win. They go to, I don't even know if they're off next week. So these teams could be off, but 4-2, 4-2, right? We've already established the Lions having their bye week early. If they lose, they will drop down to if the Lions win this game, after they beat Dallas, they go into first place. But you could have 4-2, 4-2, 4-1, 5-1, right? Or I'm sorry, 5-1, 5-1. And the Lions would have first place by virtue of the tiebreaker. Okay, so 4-2, 4-2, 5-1, 5-1, right? There would be a 1-game difference between the Detroit Lions, like the first place NFC North team and the last place NFC North team. So as last year was an opportunity that we blew, right? But I like this though. I like this because now we're really being tested. And we made a video last Sunday last Sunday before the Lions beat the Seahawks when the Minnesota Vikings won their game. It was Sunday night. We were waiting on Monday for us to play, right? So this race is a lot tighter. Now, it's early, but these teams have played 5 games now. A quarter of the season is gone. We are in the second quarter. Now we're getting to when the season really starts to matter, right? This is like that transition period in October. A lot of teams, I think the frauds are going to come out. Now, you guys in the comment section are quick, especially on Twitter, are so quick to call the Minnesota Vikings frauds. They could be. Last time they started this good, they went 8-8 and missed the playoffs. So it's a lot of season left. They still have to play us twice. Assuming we get those 2 wins, that's 2 losses there, right? But here's another thing about my team, right? Our team. The Detroit Lions, when you play the Detroit Lions, you lose the next week. In some cases, you get blasted, but you lose the next week. Case in point, LA Rams, week 1, they play the Detroit Lions. They get the L. They get blasted by the Arizona Cardinals in week 2. Okay, that's 1. Week 2, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat us. We went 1-7 in the red zone. If we do a little bit better in the red zone, we win that game. The next week, they lose. All right, they got beat. I forgot who beat them, but they lost. So they lost. If you follow, we play Rams in week 1. They lose in week 2. We play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in week 2, they lose in week 3. In week 3, we play the Arizona Cardinals. In week 4, they lose. In week 4, we play the Seattle Seahawks. And in week 5, they lost. So the Lions are still waiting to lose 2 in a row. It'll be 2 years later this month that the Lions, as a matter of fact, we're going into week 6. In week 7 or 8. And right now we're getting to the point, we beat the Dallas Cowboys. We're right there. It'll be 2 years since the Lions lost 2 in a row. Now, we don't have to worry about that right now because we're coming off a win. But the Seattle Seahawks played us. They also lost, and they lost the next week. So all of our opponents up until this point, whether they beat us or not, it's only been 1, they have lost the next week after they've played the Detroit Lions. So what am I saying? Is that the NFC North, remember back in the day, man, this was called the black and blue division because you played the NFC North, you got destroyed, right? And those days are coming back. I can't speak for the entire NFC North, but the Detroit Lions, it's fitting that they're the only team with those colors in the division. Black and blue are in our colors, right? We got silver, white, blue, Honolulu blue, and then sprinkle in some black in there as well, right? According to team color codes. So the Lions, this is, albeit it's early, these teams can fall off the cliff, right? We have to be careful. It's a lot of football left to be played. But right now, not only is it shaping up to be a photo finish, I mean, just a few weeks ago, I was counting out the Chicago Bears. This is how we had the NFC North heading into the season. We had Lions, Packers, Bears, Vikings. Then it looked like it was going to be Lions, Vikings. No, you know what? Lions, Vikings, Packers, Bears after week 1. Then it was like, okay, Vikings, Lions, Packers, Bears. But now, I mean, like I said, there is a game and a half separating pretty much, 2 games, because I don't know how many of these teams played each other. But there's essentially 2 games, a game and a half separating first place from last place. The Lions, if they beat the Dallas Cowboys, will go into Minnesota in week 7, and they will have a chance. Whoever wins that game between Minnesota and Detroit is in first place through 7 weeks. Now, if the Lions lose against Dallas, then no matter what happens against the Minnesota Vikings, the Vikings will remain in first place. So a lot of football left to be played, man. But this is why, to me, you have to capitalize on the opportunities. You have to take advantage of what's in your face. You have to seize the moment because that moment may not come around again for a very long time. And now this year, think about this. Think about what I'm about to say, y'all. Last 2 years, the Chicago Bears have had the first overall pick. All right. Well, it was the Carolina Panthers, but you get what I'm saying. So the Chicago Bears, first overall pick. I forgot where they actually picked at, where they would have picked at. So that's them. The Minnesota Vikings, last year, they lose Kirk Cousins for the season. Justin Jefferson goes down for He was on IR for, I think he missed 7 games, something like that, and they still made it interesting. The Green Bay Packers had a rough start to the season, came alive at the end, mollywopped the Dallas Cowboys, and scared the San Francisco 49ers. So I'm not saying that the Lions were not as good as we thought they were, but last year was a special year all around the board, and we should have taken advantage of it. We should have been in a position to get to our first ever Super Bowl, right? And had we won that Super Bowl, it would have been history. Either way it went, we made history last year. We would have just kept making it. So that's why I get so upset. That's why I get so animated. That's why I'm so passionate, man, because Lions fans think that we gonna run the table, right? You know, how often do you see that? Most of the time, Super Bowl winners have a really bad hangoff, right, or hangover. Kansas City Chiefs, the exception. 20 years ago, New England Patriots, the exception, right? So Lions got a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do if they really want to compete. But it is very cool to see the San Francisco 49ers fall off and the LA Rams to be 1-4. Their season is pretty much over. So I think if the Rams get to week 10 and they're 2-something, I think their season is over. Knowing Stafford and Sean McVay, they're going to keep playing. Most of the NFL is. But 2-6, 2-7, that's tough. Don't forget the Rams were 3-6, and I think they're going to be the guideline for the rest of this year. A lot of teams going to look at the season because they get Cooper Kupp back, they get Nakua back. They're going to look at the Rams last season and be like, this team was dead in the water, 3-6, and they made a push and, you know, squeaked in the playoffs. I think the Rams were in week 17. I think they had secured the 7th spot by 17. I think the highest they could have been was 6. Right, because we were 3. No, they were 6. They were 6. It was seed number 7 that kind of got in at the last minute. So, Lions, hey, we don't have time to play games, and that's why I'm so big. Get an edge rusher, Brad. Stop playing around, man. Make this. You said that you're always making this team better. You're always looking to make this team better. Where our division, and check this out. Check this out. Don't forget that 2 years ago, the Minnesota Vikings traded for TJ Hawkinson at the trade deadline. Now, last year, I don't think it was any splashes made in the NFC North. But if we're going to stay competitive and we're going to keep up with this thing, then we might have to make a move. That move needs to be Trey Hendrickson or some other defensive end. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Don't forget, this channel is brought to you by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. You could be anywhere else on YouTube, but you choose to rock with me. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions. Listen, if you just watch, if you take my emotion out of my videos, I speak a lot of facts, right? It seems like I'm off the rails because of how animated I am, but this is entertainment as well, right? I could be boring, but that's just not me. I'll leave that to those other guys. But for me, that's what you see, right? It's a lot of this stuff is usually based on something factual, right? So anyway, enjoy Sunday Night Football. Should be around halftime right now, and I will see you guys in the next video.